Hello, welcome everyone to our artist talk with some of the artists from the launch exhibition. My name is Crystal Phelps, and I'm the Momentum Festival Coordinator with the Arts Commission. I'm really excited to have all these wonderful artists here with us tonight, and hosting tonight is going to be the Gallery Director of the Walter E. Terhune Gallery at Owens Community College, Shelby Stutz. Shelby, welcome.
Thank you so much, Crystal. We're so glad we could be here today. Again, I'm the gallery director at the Walter E. Terhune Gallery at Owens Community College. I would like to welcome everyone tonight and thank you so much for joining us. This was such a wonderful exhibition that kind of came together. I was working with Paula Beldani and Yusuf Lateef, and we were kind of communicating about what we wanted to do. So we were discussing about, we need to do something. We need to create some kind of environment to have, actions and conversations so we could, really bring something to Owens Community College. Our community college needs this. We like to bring educational exhibitions and, lectures and really informational art pieces here. So I'm so glad this came together. Yusuf really did a lot of the curation for this process, which was really wonderful. He enlisted the Toledo Black Artists Coalition to bring in the artwork, and I was just floored when I saw the artwork came in. The artists truly brought it, and they are just a wonderful representation of the Toledo community. And Yusuf came together with me and Anthony McCarthy, and we curated and hung the show to create this really beautiful exhibition. So tonight we're going to have about 9 of our artists speak about their pieces, their experiences, how they got involved in the Toledo Black Artists Coalition, what they're working on now, and what they're doing now. So to start, I'll introduce Yusuf Lateef, and he can start talking a little bit about himself. Yusuf?
Hi, again, my name is Yusuf Lateef. It was really a pleasure to be working with Shelby and in regards to this exhibition at Owens. And it was very serendipitous how it all came about. Briefly, it just came out of a need. We were protesting some of the remarks that came out of the art museum, and we all got together and formed this coalition. And through that work and gathering, we were blessed to be able to exhibit and show our work at the Terhune Gallery in a way to talk about and ask questions about our mission as artists in this time. So it was really a great opportunity to come together in this format to ask that question of solidarity and what it all means to us. My work is very collaborative. The pieces that I have in the show are collaborative pieces between myself, Anthony McCarty, and Dustin Hostetler, and in a lot of ways, that's how I wanted to present the work for myself. But it was all together, and I would include curation, a very collaborative effort.
Thank you so much, Yusuf. Did you have anything else you wanted to say? Talk a little bit more about the artwork you had involved, or you want to talk about like your profession or anything?
Yeah, so as a teaching artist, you always have an opportunity to express yourself and try to educate the public. But you also have a lot of opportunities to learn, and a lot of conversation was happening between generations. a lot of guidance was going on between myself, Simone Spruce, and Audrey Johnson, just kind of guiding us through this process of organizing. And it really came out in this show. It really came out in the curation of this show. And it was a really beautiful way of connecting. So one of the pieces, we didn't really give it an official title. I mean, it's called Power, and it's a piece where me and Anthony came together. He has a piece with the word power in it, where he uses really strong patterning and color. And right in the foreground, you'll see a sculpture, an old antique actually, of a little boy. Um, and it's one of those things that you would see on someone's porch, right? And it's a very racist type of object. But then I think in this regard, we're flipping it. It's kind of like the N word. You flip it and use its power against, use the power in another way. And there it's looking back at you, and you have to address it. And I thought that was a really powerful piece and a way of connecting. And we not only learn through the process of collaboration, but we get to educate folks on the process, I think, of looking and seeing and creating a visual language.
Thank you, Yusuf. I really love you describing your piece because it truly is a huge statement. And I love when you walk into the gallery, that's the first thing you see. And I can't tell you enough how many people really just stop and they just look and they think. And I always ask them, I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, what does this make you feel? And it's just incredible, the emotions that come out of it. So thank you so much for that in your talk. We'll move on to our next artist as well. So Anthony McCarthy, you're up next.
Hi, how are we doing today? This is exciting to be a part of. Shelby, thank you so much for being such a professional and all this sort of haphazard experience that we've been having of getting the show together and getting to know each other. You were really great and really just managed that space really well. It was fun to work there, and it was the first time I've seen that gallery space, and I think it's just an awesome place to be able to show work. In terms of my contribution to this show, I was able to help set it up and kind of work with Yusuf side by side. We've had a long history together, and he and I have a pretty cohesive perspective on a lot of things. I really like working with him, so it's always a pleasure. We've been through a lot of things. And in terms of my personal work in the exhibition, I've been recently experimenting with this conversation of perspective and trying to create these pieces that sort of allow people to apply their own perspective to the statements that are in the work. Really try to stay away from sort of directing people how to think or how to feel, but allow themselves to bring their own personal feelings and response by kind of giving sort of a neutral image that I think most people can relate to, but everyone I feel would probably have their own personal response to. So one of the pieces, I'll show them on my background here so we can kind of see them a little bit better. The first piece, which is what Yusuf was referring to, I had two pieces ready for this show, but then when I came in and I saw the other work, I had a third piece planned, and I kind of decided to go home and re-edit. And this piece is what came out of that. When I saw the work in the show, I was really like, there's so much power in these pieces, and it also occurred to me that that's really what we're sort of talking about right now with everything that's happening, and the different ways that we all can use our different levels of power, whether power is being oppressive or whether or not we are oppressed, and to recognize what power we have at what level to be able to engage in the world around us. And I think the intention with this particular statement wasn't so much to be aggressive, but to sort of be muted and neutral and allow each person to contemplate what power they have or how is power affecting them in their lives. And so it really it was really inspired by the show as the show was happening. And I'm pretty happy with it. I'm really proud of it. I'm happy with how Yusuf and I and the show as a collective, it was able to collaborate and have a conversation, which also is, I think, what we're talking about here in this group. You know, we're trying to engage each other and other people in dialogue. And because honestly, I feel that's the most essential thing that we can be all doing right now with everything that's happening. Everybody has a different position, and we just need to communicate more. And so this is really what I'm trying to focus on. My other piece that I created is this here. The phrase in there is, "If only you could see what I could see, what I have seen." And I feel like everybody sort of is feeling this right now. As we disagree with each other or communicate with each other, we're really trying to get someone from a different perspective to understand where we're coming from. So hopefully they can empathize or communicate on a better level by being more open to recognizing that everyone is looking at everything from a specific angle. And so I wanted to convey that conversation and talk about that and sort of hopefully bring people together in a recognition that we're all viewing things on our own perspective, but we need to be able to recognize how someone else sees the world, because we haven't lived in each other's shoes, and it's not that easy to always do, but it's something that I feel like we should be striving towards. And the third piece that I was able to produce for the show is actually an early collaboration with Yusuf from years ago. He had put this quote out in an exhibition we were a part of, "If you win, I win." And this concept for me is something that I agree with, and I recognize that it's not always easy to recognize or to participate in. It's not simply quantified right away. You know, we don't always understand that if I can give to someone, I will gain from that giving, because we often try to get what we can on our own and go directly towards what it is we need. But I think that overall, I think that we can honestly strive to give to others, help others, work with others and know that there'll be a return in that investment, essentially, in people. And there's no hard numbers for that. And so for this piece, the way that it's sort of difficult to visualize, hard to see because of the technique, I feel like it's this sort of hazy ghost of a concept that, we try to understand this type of perspective. And so with a lot of my work, that's where I'm going. And with these line patterns that I'm working with, I'm often trying to sort of blur the image or blur the idea, but also allowing like a visual space where almost the eye doesn't have to go anywhere if it doesn't want to. It can just get lost in these vibrations that I'm creating. And so this is these were fun to work on. These are new experimental pieces for the show. It was a great pleasure to be a part of.
Thank you so much, Anthony. We truly are glad that you have your art pieces in this exhibition. It was really awesome to see you bring them in towards the end and how they just really fit and just totally finish the exhibition so well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, and next I will introduce Philip Johnson. Philip.
Hello, everyone. It's awesome to be here this evening. What I've heard so far, it has been really great to hear, because it's more or less of what been said so far is the direction that I'm going and headed. I also want to say hello to Mr. Otis Roberts. He went to school with my brother, Charles Johnson. Hello, bro. So that being said, I have always wanted to do something creative. And I know when I was in grade school, I took up home economic, and I always sewed, and I wanted to get into sewing classes. So I took sewing in grade school, then I took it in high school. And then I went somewhere else. I went to the military, but I always talked about, I want to be a fashion designer. I want to do this and that. And time went on and never really pursued it. But then what happened, I started making my own headpieces. I cut my sleeves off my shirts and put them on my head. And I'm like, yeah, that's real cool. So I came up with my own little style. But as time went on, I decided that I need to really, really sit down and think about what it is that I'm going to do with this thought that I have in my head, instead of just keep talking about to people. And so I finally got my sewing machine. And when I got my sewing machine, I had to learn how to make mistakes, be creative, make mistakes. And I realized that, I'm onto something. And I started doing my headpieces. Then as I made my headpieces, I got good with my headpieces. Then I said, I need to do something different. And so then I started doing bags. Then as I started doing bags, I said, okay, I need to do something a little different. And then I started doing quilts. And I started out doing baby quilts. And when I say baby quilts, is that I would take my grandson clothing that he couldn't wear anymore and piece them together. And I said, oh, this is nice. I liked it. And then I said, I love it. And so that being said, the name of my piece is called Grandma Hands. And the reason why I said Grandma Hands is because, Grandma could sit there and do some things, and then she would be so creative. And then she would make her mistakes, but she would fix them and keep going on. And when I saw my mistakes, instead of me starting over, I said, let me fix this and add to it. And I would sit back and I said, this is like really for real. And I got so emotional involved in what I was doing that I started to talk to Audrey and Simone and introduce what I was doing to them to get their approval or let me know if I was on the right track. And they let me know that I was on the right track. So that was very, very inspiring to me. And so I continue to keep making things. And then they invite me to this. I was like, what? Me? Wow. I consider myself a rookie amongst all you other experienced people that's been doing this for a while. So I want to say thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of. And I'm so excited because I can't wait until I get the chance to go back and tell other people the experience that I've had with you people that are listening to me, and I'm listening to you guys, and I feel like I'm part of the team. So I just want to say thank you all so much in what it is that I'm a part of. And that being said, hey, everyone be blessed, stay happy, and stay informed. Amen.
Thank you so much, Philip. I really love that story that you told about, how you started, with sewing and how you grew into it and you grew into your art. That was really wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, and next we'll have Mercé Culp. Mercé.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Hi. Okay.
We can hear you and we can see you, Mercé. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, your background.
Thank you, guys. It's that time of year. I'm so glad to be part of this. Thank you everyone for joining us today, tuning in. Thank you all the artists for being a part of this exhibition. And I just really wanted to talk just a little bit about why I made the piece that I did. In the gallery, it's one of the smaller ones. It features something that says, "Say Her Name." It features a graphic design and mixed media rendition of Brianna Taylor. What this piece represents is commemorative justice. And so as an artist, I do have to look around, like, what am I doing to raise awareness? Should I be out in the street protesting? What should I be doing? And so I always come back to the phrase, what is that you have in your hand? And so in my hands, I have the ability to create art, to raise awareness, and to commemorate the lives of those who do not have a voice and those who lost their voice due to police brutality. And so I wanted to know, Brianna Taylor, like, who is she? Like, what happened here? What's going on? So I did some research, and immediately this hashtag came up called "Say Her Name," hashtag "Say Her Name." So what I thought I was doing was diving into just more information about Brianna Taylor, when I found out that there are more African-American women who have been killed at the hands of police. These are unarmed people. They all have a story, and I kept reading about each person. And so in order to keep this movement, this civil rights movement of our day moving forward, and to actually make this change stick, and actually make this a point of, from this moment on, we do not revert back to, police brutality as being something that you don't get justice for. We will not be silenced. Things that would, that we can't live like this anymore. This world is crazy. And right now, there's light being shed on all type of injustice. We see it in the news, these disparities. And one thing that really stuck with me was the fact that African American women, not just Brianna Taylor, have been affected and have lost their lives to police brutality. And so I think that it is only proper to say her name. And so not only will I say the name Brianna Taylor today, I would like to read for you the names of the women who lost their life. And so I'll start with that, but following my last name, Alexia Christian, I'd like for us to give about 15 seconds as a moment of silence to honor the lives. We don't know them. We don't know much about them, but injustice anywhere against any person is injustice everywhere. And so I'll begin right now. There's quite a few, and I don't know how. I've never known these names. I don't know a single name on this list, but today I'd like to say her name. Eleanor Bumpers, Taisha Miller, Latanya Haggerty, Margaret Mitchell, Kayla Moore, Tarika Wilson, Gabriela Navarez, Aura Rosser, Michelle Cousseau, Tanisha Anderson, Alexia Christian, Megan Hockaday, Maya Hall, Janisha Fonville, Natasha McKenna, Dejaria Becton, Kendra James, Ayanna Stanley Jones, Rakia Boyd, Marlene Pennick, Kiarika Deagles, Sandra Bland, Charmel Edwards, and Brianna Taylor. If we can have 15 seconds as a moment of silence. Thank you all. Thank you for tuning in today and letting me list the names. And I hope with this exhibition, we are raising awareness, we are making a stand and doing our part in our own community to say this is not okay. And so thank you for having me be a part of the Zoom call today.
Thank you so much, Mercé. And I absolutely love what you said. Like, that is the core of this exhibition, is making people realize that this is not fair, this is not just, and so many people have lost lives over this. So thank you so much for saying this and bringing awareness to it and doing your part, because I know we're all trying to do our part and, you know, make people realize this is not right. So thank you so much for that speech, Mercé. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right, and now we will move on to Otis Roberts. You can go ahead, Otis. Thank you.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? You there?
Yep.
Hello? Okay. Look like I'm stuck here. Okay. Okay, I guess you can hear me. My name is Otis Robertson. I've been painting in this area for quite a while. I just haven't showed for quite a while in this area, but recently I got a phone call from one of my really dear friends, and I know she was put up to it by another really dear friend, and he asked me to participate. So, and luckily I had some work. So, and I've been working quite a bit. The three pieces that I put in was one was the Maasai Warrior. It's pretty, well, my pieces are, they kind of big. The other piece, it was, I believe, going to market, figurative piece. And the last piece was, it's called A Mother's Anguish. And that piece kind of touched home, because I think we look at all the things that's going on, you know, in our society and in this world today. You know, we really haven't put a spotlight on what these mothers are going through and how they are experiencing all this, and the strength that they're showing. And this is the only way that I could get it out and put it out. So it was thought it was something that needed to be shown. So that was just my contribution. I'm so thankful to find artists in this area are really getting together and striving and want to make a change, want to make a difference. There are so many talented people here, and I've said this for many years, and it's just a shame, like everybody kind of overlook it. But I think with the work and with the technology and the marketing, I think there's opportunity for, you know, more people in not only in this area but across the country to see how much talent that's in this area and to invest in it. I really don't have a lot to say about my paintings or anything like that. It's just my passion. That's what I do. But I really appreciate the fact that, you know, you allowed us, you know, to come in and open arms and really show what it is that we can do. And for that, I'm very appreciative of. And I hope that we can continue and make this grow into something really, really special, and to get some of these young folks, the the kids, get them involved and let them know that, you know, hey, this is valuable. You know, history, you know, it's just not just a pretty picture, but it's actually, you're painting history, you know, so, and with that, that's about all I got. Oh yeah, Phil, I'm glad to see you, man. That's neighborhood, that's North Side, baby. All right, well, I'll turn it back over. I think I'm done with this.
Thank you so much, Otis. And truly, we appreciate your contribution to this art exhibition. You're such a wonderful representative of the talent in our Toledo area, and just the years of talent too. Like, we really appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. It was my honor. Thank you.
All right, and from there, we will move on to Audrey Johnson. Audrey.
Oh, wow. Hello, everyone. This is a time where I'm full of a lot of emotion. And, you know, you go along peaceful, and then all of a sudden the emotion comes up again. And listening to my wonderful peers from describing, you know, just the process of what we're going through in this country and in this world at this time, and the effects that it has on every level, you know, it rises my emotions in a really noticeable way within me. And I think about the feeling that I have right now and the feelings that I had based on those photographs that are in this exhibition. I traveled to Ghana, West Africa, and I took a trip by myself. No one went with me. And that was a great moment for me to get to know who I am. And when I say to know who I am, to understand who my ancestors are, where they come from, and who I am presently. And in that travel, I went to Cape Coast, which is where the first castle, and it just, even every time I say this, it sounds just absurd to me, and that there's more than one throughout the coast, but it was the first castle that was built for the enslavement of Africans to be sold and shipped across the waters. And I have not had the feeling that I had that day until just recently. I want to say it probably rose to that level at the murder of George Floyd, and it continues to rise based on the nation's state of just murder, on down to murder that has happened very close in my area of teaching and in some of my students. I've had 4 students be murdered within the last 4 months. And that's a lot. So when I look at those young boys and I think about that day, that I have a group of photographs that are probably my favorites. And we were at the castle looking out of the door of no return, out into the ocean and the area where the boats were docking. And there were a group of kids that were just playing, and they were happy, and they were running up and down, and it was a lot of people out there, but for some reason my eye caught these group of boys. And so I watched them periodically from that end all the way maybe like a mile down to the other end. And as I was walking and doing some things that I was doing, I would always look up, see where they were, and I would take pictures of them. And at one point, I think I know they knew I was taking their picture at one point. And, you know, I just thought about how happy and uninterrupted, you know, their young lives were at that moment, and what that could have possibly been like at the uproar of a group of people just snatching you out of your comfort, and you don't know what is happening. And so I just feel that energy. Every time I think about a murder, that energy rises in me. And then the other photograph, which she is of a young woman, and she's wasn't with that group of pictures, but I thought she was symbolic of you know, of women, of Black women. And she was a young African girl. I went to a nail salon, and young African girl had a baby on her back. The baby was asleep. He woke up, she picked him up, she put him on her back, she tied this blanket up, and she stopped, and she knew I was taking her picture, and she gave me this look of regalness. And I just thought, you know, mother beauty. And it just, that resonates with me on so many levels of being a mother, and being a mother of a male, and knowing that all that we pour into our children and not knowing what will happen next, and being a mother of an African-American young man who's very smart, intelligent, handsome, all of those things, and not knowing if there could be a tragedy with him. That has been with me for as long as I can remember. And I'm sure there are nowhere near as many Caucasian women who have to walk around with that fear and suppress it. So this exhibition for me is quite welcomed, because I've never shown any of the photographs that I took when I was in Ghana. And I just kind of felt like I didn't want to invade the privacy. It was hard for me to even take the photographs I took for that reason. And so this was just an occasion that allowed me to release that. I feel much better because I've shared something that's really dear to me, and I'm able to talk about it. So that I say thank you to these wonderful young men who said, hey, we need you, we want you, come hang out with us. And I'm like, okay, here I am. And to Otis and Simone, Aaron, we go way back, and to see us all here together is just so delightful. And Shelby, thank you so much for being a great hostess of the gallery and being the keeper of our work. And we will continue to do great things, and Philip will continue to grow, and Paul will continue, Yusuf, all of us, and even those that aren't here, will continue to be that foundation of historians and creatives. And Anthony will subliminally always give us something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Audrey. And truly, it's an honor for me to have this artwork in the exhibition. I'm just so glad I could provide the space. Owens is supporting this and provide the space. I'm just so glad I could be a part of it and help out where I can, because you all deserve this. And this really needs to be a conversation talked about, definitely. Thank you so much for your contribution, Audrey.
Thank you.
All right, and now we'll move on to our next artist, and that is Aaron Bivens. Aaron, you can go ahead and speak.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'd like to start by thanking the coalition for the opportunity to be a part of this fantastic exhibit, an exhibition of wonderful artwork of a lot of lesser known artists in the community, but I think this is just a a great venue and a great opportunity to showcase your art, to show what we have lurking in the shadows in terms of artists. I'd like to also thank Owens and the Terhune Gallery and Shelby for all of your fine work in putting the show together, hosting it, and we really appreciate it. Again, the work in the show is phenomenal. And these types of shows are what a lot of people need to see, that we have wonderful artists in this community, and this is just a small sample of those artists and the work that they produce and what they're passionate about. Now, I have a couple of pieces that are in the show. The first one is acrylic, and it's of a jazz performer, and it's entitled Jazz Man, and the clarinet player is Don Byron. And when I think of painting jazz performers, it just takes you to another world when you listen to jazz. And when I paint jazz performers, and I painted quite a few, that it kind of brings you in, it involves the viewer to come to their own conclusions and feel what that artist is saying in their work and in their music. And I try to do the same in my paintings. The second piece that I have is a watercolor of Dr. John Hendricks. And we lost Dr. Hendricks a few years ago, and he was a Toledoan. But Dr. Hendricks, in that piece, he's standing there very stately, like he has more to say. And he was just a wonderful historian. He was a wonderful jazz vocalist. And he was actually deemed the father of vocalese. And vocalese is a person, an artist who puts lyrics to existing jazz music. So he did that quite a bit. And throughout his life, he was able to kind of rub shoulders with some of the greats, and even the great Art Tatum from Toledo as well. So whenever Art Tatum performed, John Hendricks was there, and a lot of the greats of the day would come. So, you know, John Hendricks had an opportunity to be right in the mix with these wonderful and great artists. I also paint in oils. Currently, I'm working on an oil piece. It's like a 30 by 40 of some horses for a collector of mine in Colorado. And last week I finished up a watercolor portrait of a couple of girls. I stay pretty busy in my spare time. I try to squeeze in as much as I can around babysitting our two grandchildren, and my wife and I, we are the virtual teachers of a kindergartner and a second grader, and we're learning a lot ourselves, so it's just wonderful. But again, I would like to thank and congratulate all the other artists who are in the exhibit. Love your work. The venue is wonderful. The exhibit looks great. And just as several of the artists mentioned, this is something that we should continue to do to gain and give the artists more exposure. So with that, thank you very much again for having me. Shelby?
Thank you so much, Aaron. I know I've known you for a few years back at working at American Frame, and you've always been so inspiring, and seeing your artwork just grow has been really incredible. So thank you so much for joining me again in another exhibition and representing your artwork. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Aaron. Take care.
You too.
All right, and next we will have Paul Verdell. Paul, you can go ahead.
Can everybody hear me? All right. So my name is Paul Verdell. I am a local artist here in Toledo as well. And I actually went to Owens Community College back in 2009 to 2013. And then after that, I ended up going to BGSU for my BFA in painting and drawing. And after that, I've was able to get a studio here in Toledo, and I've been here for ever since I've been out of school. So yeah, I have 2 pieces, or 3 pieces actually, in the show launch. And the one piece that I want to talk about mostly is the Carolinians, which is a large painting, very blue painting. And the one of the reasons I ended up painting that was it was one of those things where I just kind of wanted to do a big painting really quickly. And some of the works that I make are very gestural, and they use a lot of oil, a lot of turpentine. So the turpentine is breaking down the oils as I'm painting, kind of like how watercolor looks, but just with oils. And with this piece, some of the history from this piece was, this was a photo that I had found from my father's side of my family. And these are technically relatives that I've actually never really met. And one of the men in the photo was actually murdered a couple years ago, I had found out. So, he's actually he's my uncle. And it's pretty interesting how, one of those things where it's like, I don't have that connection with that side of the family, but when you go digging around in crates and you find photos, you still have a little bit of that connection. So one of the ways I wanted to kind of bring that out was to, paint it and just bring it to life in a painting. So that's one of the reasons why I ended up painting that painting particularly. And most of my work is very gestural, very colorful. I use oils, oil pastels, and oil sticks. And, a lot of the work that I had done before was trying to go into hyperrealism and looking at the work to kind of match the photo. And after leaving school, I had to unlearn almost everything that I had learned and kind of go my own path. So I looked at artists like Matisse, Buford Delaney. I was also looking at Henry Taylor. So yeah, that was pretty much the inspo behind that piece of work. But yeah, and I'm just very glad to be a part of this show, very glad to have this opportunity, and very glad to be around artists in Toledo.
Thank you so much, Paul. And it's really wonderful because you are kind of one of the younger representatives of this exhibition. So the mentorship program of the Toledo Black Artists Coalition, I think that's just such a wonderful thing for you to be a part of and to grow with. How did you get more involved with that, if I could ask?
Yeah, so one of the ways that I got involved was, I was part of the protests at the Toledo Museum of Art, and after the protests, me and Yusuf decided, we're like, we gotta put something together. We can't just let this end. So we ended up, Yusuf ended up reaching out to Simone, Audrey, and other people as well, and because Yusuf has all the connects. It's like I'm still I'm like a shadow here. I'm not really like some people know me and some people, a lot of people don't. But yeah, that's pretty much how it kind of came about. And then we, one idea led to another, and then here we are. So.
Thank you, Paul. That's really wonderful for you to share. And it's true, like this is just the beginning. I'm so glad we could start here, and I can't wait to see where this grows and where this continues and where else we can take this, because it deserves to travel and be in different places. So Thank you so much again, Paul. Do you have any other comments or anything you'd like to say?
No, that's pretty much it. I was pretty much short and sweet.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paul. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, and next we will have Simone Spruce. Simone.
Thank you, Shelby. I just wanted to say thanks to you and to Paula and to Owens Community College for hosting us. It was really quite a phenomenal exhibition when you have this much talent from young to old and generational. I think speaking as the oldest artist out of the group, dare I say it, the elder now, I'll just start off with saying that how I became connected to the group was certainly through Paul's initial protest, and then him and Yusuf reaching out to Audrey, and Audrey reaching out to me to come in and to advise as the group was moving themselves forward. I began my career here from Toledo, Ohio at the age of 6, and moved on to a professional level, and then left Toledo to move my work nationally. And I've just returned home at the end of last year to reestablish my studio here and just to continue move the work here locally, regionally, and nationally. Certainly kicking off the idea of art in the age of solidarity, and what it meant to me was just an artistic community united fighting for the same cause. So this is why we grab a hold of the word coalition. And certainly, as Paul had stated, protesting remarks made from the Toledo Museum of Art, and wanting to move ahead forward as a community in partnership with them. My work as a draftsman first, illustrator, and a painter second is primarily social commentary work. And then of course, second is the portrait and figurative work that I do. I do a lot of series projects. And so the images that are within this exhibition are 3 of my portrait images in pencil. The pencil and I have been partners since, a young age. So I know I work well with it, and I'm very able to create some very emotive pieces with that pencil. So there's a story behind every piece that I do, whether it be a painting or a drawing. In this case, the 3 images that are in this exhibition, first is the piece of my mother. It's called Mama. And my mother gave me a slide of that image to draw of her some years prior to us losing her to pancreatic cancer. And I had gritted it out and worked on it off and on for a number of years. And then of course it became immediate when we got that diagnosis. And then we lost her in 26 days. She went on home in 2005. And with that piece is a poem that I have written to help me work through it. I always say when there's a lot on me, I'm heavy burden, I'm able to release that out through the work, and it becomes even more powerful. So what happened with the other portrait in the piece, Audrey, is that Audrey and I were hanging out one day, and I took some photos of her. And of course, anybody who knows Audrey knows she can work the glasses and also at the same time work whatever material that she has on. So I took some photos and created a pencil portrait of Audrey. People tend to mistake that for me, but I always tell them that the name is right there. It's Audrey, and she has been in numerous exhibitions nationally. But I had worked on Audrey's hat first for a while, then I put it aside. And then when I returned to Rhode Island, where I was living after Mama passed, I came back in and I finished Audrey before I moved on to complete Mama. So those two pieces are quite intense because of the emotional turmoil I was feeling. And I, as I always say, always release that out through the medium. The third image is every head bowed, every eye closed, is of Pastor Carl Jefferson, a friend of mine, a minister in Rhode Island, a powerful image of him in prayer. And of course, the focal point always in looking at that piece is his hands. So there's always some direct eye contact, PowerPoints in every piece that I do, including the social commentary work where I'm often, which is often controversial, but as it should be, there's only a small number of us around the country doing social commentary work at the level that I do, and I will continue to do that because my mother was an activist, also an educator, and a church clerk. So there's an underlying tone of the spiritual connect as well with my work, but it was at the forefront, at the helm of the different areas here in the city before she passed away. So that's really what my background is. And I just wanted to say in closing, as an artist, I have the freedom through immediate response to tell the truth about humankind and create work that documents our differences, similarities, and moments of crisis. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simone. And I love how you said that about art, because that is the vehicle for us. It's the great equalizer, right? Like
Yes.
Everyone can relate. We should be able to use our voice with it. And that's what it's there for, which thank you so much for summarizing that up.
All right, thanks.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for speaking and talking. Right now, we're going to open up the chat for questions. So feel free to ask questions from any of the artists or anyone. You can ask questions from me, or if you have any general exhibitions about questions about the exhibition, go ahead and start typing. If the artists want to turn their videos on so they can all be seen, go right ahead. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about some more details of the exhibition as well. So it will be open till October 30th. The gallery right now is appointment only hours. So basically you can email the gallery at gallery@owens.com or .edu, pardon me, and you can set up an appointment with us, or you can give me a call. My phone number is 567-661-7956, and you can give me a call, set up an appointment. And what's really nice about setting up an appointment here is you can get a tour with me, me personally. If you want to tour with a specific artist, I can reach out to them and see if they want to talk a little more. But it's just a nice personal experience for people to come in and feel safe attending here as well. We are also launching, I like to use that term so much because this exhibition is perfect for it. We are also launching a virtual tour on the Owens Terhune Gallery website. So we have a full virtual tour of the exhibition. You get to see a really beautiful video created by Rob Thomas. He's our, oh, we've got a question here. I will continue in a little bit. What's the next step / event for the coalition? So I don't know if you want to answer that, Yusuf, or anyone else wants to jump in.
I'm not sure about the next official event, but we're going to take some time to really get organized and official. I mean, we're official but in the work that we're doing. But I think it's now we're going to really get it all coalesced together and moving forward. But there should be there's a lot of things on our radar that we want to move forward on. But one step at a time.
Yeah, you know, I just want to say with that question that, you know, this was truly an amazing, organic, authentic opportunity, and we've all come together as like some troopers, you know, like what Anthony knows how to do, what Yusuf knows how to do, what Simone can do, what I can do, Paul, like, you know, we just had the help of one another to get to this level. So I think we'll kind of step back a little bit and you know, do some strategizing to go forward. We've been doing that all along. Take a little breath. We seem to like to get together and eat. So we want to, you know, spend some quality time together, bring some other folks to the table. Hopefully Aaron and Otis can join us. And we'll go forward in those things. There are some good people in the background. I want to shout out to Dustin Hostetler. I got to say your name, brother, because he's been there for us, you know, in a really big way. And we'll just see what happens between now and the beginning of the year. I'm sure people will see this exhibition. Once we leave Owens, we will be looking for a home to be somewhere else. Yeah.
I would like to add, I think one of the things that we want to that we're focusing on is outreach. And one of the main components of the coalition is to create a bridge for more emerging artists and younger artists, and to you know, this isn't the first group that has come together like this. This is just a new iteration of it. And we all feel the need to form something that will be here in the future for younger artists that are coming into the fold. So I think outreach is going to be important. Art residency is going to be important, and also implementing a lot of the exhibitions that were here before, one being the roots of diversity. So these are the things, some of the things that we're currently talking about and working on.
Thank you so much for speaking about that, Yusuf, definitely. So we have a comment, Casey Cook, just to kind of let everybody know. He is an instructor at Owens Community College, and he brought a group of his class down, and he said he just loved it. There were so many emotion, techniques, and talent on display. It was very inspiring. He said, Audrey, I thought you might like to know, one of the students was from West Africa, and she told us all about, you know, her experiences relating to your lovely photos and her family and her childhood. And he just said, as an instructor in the Fine and Performing Arts Department, he just wants to express his personal gratitude to each of you for your amazing contributions and for your ongoing efforts to share these important and powerful message, you know, here and at Owens Community College and beyond.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. And we also have Nathan Matamo is expressing his gratitude as well. And he just said there's so many powerful statements in these talks. So again, thank you all. And we have another comment here. And he said, Sid said, thanks you so much for sharing your stories and for offering your work. And he also kind of said, how do you envision the show's initiative to continue through your work, and what kind of conversation do you hope to shape and create? And anyone's open to answer that question.
Yeah, I think our focus as we move forward is to start shaping future exhibitions. You know, more curation, more exhibitions, and really sort of bring all of our skill sets to the table as all this new talent comes out of the Toledo area. Well, that's one of our ideas, in certainly in partnership with Paula, and what she's doing with her organization. That door has been open to us. So we want to sort of lay ground for the future exhibition. So as I said, we are collectively, you know, catching our breath. There's been many blessings, many doors opening to us unexpectedly. We had to move very fast, but now we're going to, as Yusuf said, catch our breath, have a community meal, and really hammer out things so that we can walk into next year with a solid plan.
Thank you, Simone. Would anyone else like to comment on that question as well?
I would. I know as an individual, and I'm so glad I can be a part of a group, you know, making these same efforts for activism through creativity. As a four-dimensional artist, and launching a fashion brand, I think that you know, the concept of wearing something that commemorates a life, that's not new. However, I would like to participate in creating wearable artwork where the proceeds go to help the families. This is not easy, you know. This doesn't go away. And I see, you know, when I go to the grocery store and I see someone wearing a shirt, R.I.H., rest in heaven, rest in peace, and it's faded. I mean, they've had that shirt for a while. So that commemoration of that life is so important. And to have something that you can wear to keep with you, or just to put on display, like saying, hey, this life was important to me. And all lives that, you know, have been affected are important to me. And so I would like to make wearable pieces, not where it's like mass consumption, but something that could be a gift to the family, something that could go in a show that demonstrates the commemorative justice that we're seeking for all of these individuals.
Thank you, Mercé. And you can talk a little bit about your clothing, your clothing business that you're kind of launching if you want. Feel free.
You know, I can't even, okay, got it. So as I've been in this art scene in Toledo, I've experimented for maybe the last 20 years of different techniques, different things, different materials to use. And I'm not done experimenting, but anything I wanted to use, I used it. Whether it was something I thought up in my head, something I found in the junk drawer at home, or something I learned at Bowling Green State University, which I'm a graduate of. Also taking classes from the University of Toledo during high school, where I started construction and set design at the age of 16. The building of an idea, those things stuck with me. And as a 9-year-old, I always thought you should wear art. And so art is everywhere, and art speaks volumes. It does give voice to things. It gives, it brings life, color, pattern, the inundation of pattern, like what's going on this screen, just being bombarded. That's the power of art. We can bombard people with the message to keep something alive. The whole idea of a trend, it makes it so that I think along the lines of how a movement can be a trend, and I don't like that necessarily. This is not something that, like December 31st, we go back to, you know, business as usual. We have a pandemic, which we've been affected by one way or another. And I think it's important to keep messages alive. So something that you keep and you keep cycling through, something you wear every day, something that sends that message that represents what you believe and what represents some of your thoughts. Those are things that I feel like as an artist and designer, fashion plays a big role in how we see things, along with music, and how certain ideas are kept alive, certain feelings are kept alive via creativity. So as I launch a fashion brand this month, infinityfashion.com, and proceed with a virtual exhibition called VX1. I just want to make a few statements. It's artwork in black and white, and take this momentum project and make a spot where I have a little bit of time where I can interrupt my own personal exhibition and insert some of the things that are going on, like the Zoom talk, and pictures and photographs, and highlight some people who are really making some changes here by way of their creativity. So that's what I'm launching this month, and I'm so happy to be a part of this coalition. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mercé. We appreciate you telling us more about that info. All right, and we had a comment from John Ecost. He said, thank you so much. This was really great. Appreciate all of this talent and look forward to seeing the work in person. And then we have one last question, it seems here. Can you guys share some of the history of the coalition, past members, etc.? Anyone's welcome to answer.
Well, I'll just say I was a member of a number of different Black artist groups here in Toledo before I left to move my work nationally. As I was sharing with the group, the coalition, is that this is just another journey for a new group that happened. There were many groups before. We'll just remember our elders, with Will Clay, who was gone on home. He was one of my mentors, as well as Ernie Jones. From the Vines family, Thomas, an amazing photographer. Marvin Vines, an amazing painter and illustrator, have gone on home. So there have been many groups, Lamaxi Glover, the list just continues. And as I said, this is just a new reiteration of what was already established here so many years ago. So I guess I would be that elder statesman that had been a part of the majority of those groups before I left. So we're just looking to continue the legacy.
Yeah, and I kind of want to piggyback off of that a little bit from my experiences. I guess a transplant of Canton, Ohio, coming to Toledo. I was a student at Bowling Green State University, visual communications technology major. And to be in Toledo and have an idea that just blossomed into me owning my own gallery in Toledo. And I had to say that because actually that is how I met Simone, Otis, Aaron, and through that process, I met Yusuf. I was the first photography instructor for the YAW program. And Yusuf was one of my students. So, it was like just following your dream or following what's being said to you, that still small voice. You don't know where you're gonna go, and I've landed here amongst these people right now today. And that is truly amazing to me. And the people who came through Tillman Gallery and the experiences that we have. And I always give my honor to Sally Valango. She did us all well. Yeah. She made sure that who were what we were doing. Yeah, she did. She was awesome to us. And Harold Long was one of my mentors as a photographer, and also, was very giving of his time to make sure that photos were taken. There were so many people, through the Arts Commission that I was very connected to. And, even though those people have gone on, they instilled such greatness of love and compassion, of understanding in me, that I, feel honored to continue to do those things in my own community as an African-American woman who has had the opportunity, and then just to the community as well, because it's important to give back, to have your presence, and just allow other people to see what can evolve out of listening to the still small voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I say something?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would like to say that I've gotten involved in the arts because there are other things that I'm capable of doing. I enjoy taking pictures. I enjoy sketching. I enjoy just knowing that I had to learn. I had to get my own confidence, knowing that I was not able to go to school and get a degree, to have a diploma or something in black and white to back me. And that kind of like threw me off, because I said I have to have something to be a part of the art group. And I'm saying this to those who may be listening, that don't be discouraged because you didn't have an opportunity to go to college and get a degree and be a part of what you are hearing this evening. But let whatever gift is in you just evolve. Just let it flow. And I am so honored to be amongst all these awesome artists that I'm listening to, that I am somewhat tapped in to what you all are doing. And I appreciate you all, because at such a time in my life, at the age I am, that you always keep hope alive. Because I said to myself, oh, Philip, you're getting older. And my conscious, my subconscious, man, you better get off of that. You better let what's in you flow. Let the stream flow and let it go where it needs to go. So I just want to just encourage all those listeners that are being doubtful and saying, I have to go to school. Do what you do and start from where you at and make it happen. And that's what I have to say. Stay strong, stay up, and be encouraged, because all of our lives matter. Thank you.
Hey, that's what we all pretty much did. Yeah, we all did that. I mean,
Yeah,
we go back to the late 80s.
all the way
Yeah,
back.
that's how far we go back. So, we didn't know what we was doing. Trust me.
That's right.
We was just doing.
That's right. Just do it.
And so now, you look at it from this standpoint. I look at where we came from and where we at now, and right now, man, I'm learning more now than ever.
Right.
If getting old causes us, man, I can't wait till I get 80 and still.
Hey, Otis, remember when Craig told us he didn't care what we did to the building, and we painted the whole.
We painted the whole building.
We painted the whole outside of the building on the corner of Madison and 13th Street. So the mural thing that you all are doing now, we did that 25 years ago.
Man, that's a long time ago.
Oh my God, like we just painted the whole building.
We did it.
And we did it, Yeah. And Aaron was our trusty guy who gave us plenty mats, plenty cut mats along the way, We just made it happen.
That's right.
Great opportunity to just come together, I could see Frosty just, he was breaking plates, and we'd be like, what are you doing? And he was gonna make something out of the plates, just whatever, man.
Yeah.
So Philip, thank you for saying that, because it's important for people to know that creativity just comes from existing and being in tune to what's going on around you. And it's not always good, and it's not always fair, and it's not always something we want to talk about, but to be able to express it through the form of art, whether you are a musician, whether you are in theater, dance, photography, you know, textile, whatever your medium is, you know, writing, poetry, just so people know that the coalition exists for all artists and all creatives. We are not opposed to one form of art or another. It just happens that we all are visual artists, but we are looking to just support artists of all genres who have the same understanding of solidarity and togetherness and lifting one another up and truly expressing, one, that Black lives do matter and Black artists do make a difference. And for two, that all lives do matter and all lives do make a difference. And we embrace that totally. You just got to come with the right frame of mind. That's the main thing.
Could I share a comment, please?
Yes.
Just very quickly. Again, I would like to thank all of the folks who organized and put this show together, Simone and Shelby, and all of the artists who are exhibiting in this show. And I think it's totally fantastic. Now, let me just kind of very quickly tell you, I've been a part-time artist for about 40 years. And that's not a long time. But I've been painting and watercolor acrylic oils for about 40 years.
That's right.
And one of the things that I learned early on was to paint, because that's a medium of choice, and I paint in watercolor, acrylic, and oils. And I had one of my mentors and instructors years ago who remember Walter Chapman, who was a fantastic watercolorist around the country, but he lived in Sylvania. His workshop back in the 80s, or his classes back in the 80s. And he would tell me to just keep doing what you're doing. So what you want to do is exactly that. Just keep doing what you're doing and take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way.
That's right.
I can tell you that I've exhibited in many venues, libraries, coffee shops, you know, you name it. I in these places when asked. So it's another way of getting your message out there, your work out there for people to see and appreciate what you do. I paint a lot of different subjects. For those of you who don't know my work or you haven't seen my work, you name it, I paint it. What it does for me and what that has done for me over the years is it's made me better. I paint a lot of different subjects and so on. You're going to get better. Now, I just concluded a show, and I'm an impressionist artist, but I just concluded a show at the 20 North Gallery down on St. Clair. The gallery owners, they came to me and asked me if I'd be interested in them hosting a show for me, and I said, absolutely. And then they said, would you consider doing an abstract show? I said, well, sure. I had done a few abstracts. That's not what I do, but I had done a few. But that was an opportunity to learn more. So I did 15 paintings for this show, this one-man show, the largest of which was a 48 by 60. Then I did some 4 48 by 48s, and the others were 30 by 40s. And the show just concluded, and it started actually at the beginning of the shutdown of the whole economy around the country back in March. But we had a Zoom virtual opening reception, and it worked out very well. So, you know, challenge yourself, explore different things. You know, it's only going to make you better. Challenge yourself. I'm working on and I mentioned to someone earlier, I'm working on a piece of a couple of horses in oils for a gentleman in Colorado. And, you know, I don't have an ideal time where I can say, okay, I'm going to work on this, this piece at this time. Don't have it. We all have 24 hours in the day and we just have to squeeze it in. And so that's what I do. But this has really helped me and served me well over the years. Somebody also asked me earlier, do you paint every day? I said, no, I don't paint every day. I think about painting every day, and I would love to paint every day. And I tell my wife, okay, today I'm going to paint. She says, well, we have to do this, 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 and this. So I have to put it on the back burner. But I squeeze it in when I can. If I can paint for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that's what I do. And I can only, you know, do one brush stroke at a time anyway. So, you know, I just take those baby steps and I just keep moving forward, and it all seems to come together and get done. But any opportunity that you have to exhibit your work so that people can see it, please, please take advantage of it. You know, Toledo Artist Club, which I've been a member of for years, I've exhibited there for many years, and a lot of people have seen my work. I do the outdoor art fairs, about 10 to 11, excluding this year because of COVID. 5 or 6 in Michigan, and then 5 in Ohio. But those outdoor art fairs have done wonders for, you know, my artwork. A lot of people have been able to see it, appreciate it, and most importantly, take it home with them. So, you know, it is just one of those things. So just keep doing what you're doing and making people aware of what you do, and it'll work out for you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you, everybody. I think we answered all the questions here, so we'll just wrap up. Again, thank you all so much for doing this live artist talk. It's so wonderful to hear from each and every one of you. And it's just been such an incredible experience for me and for Owens Community College. Again, we are so honored to have your artwork here, and we are looking forward to seeing where this goes. We want to see it travel. We'll do whatever we can.
I don't know.
Everyone again soon. We do have virtual tours and a brochure will be posted on the gallery website. So we'll post more information out about that. Again, it's open till October 30th, so you still have the whole month to come and see it. And we also have virtual options if you don't feel comfortable. So thank you all so much again, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening.
Yes,
Shelby,
thank you, thank you. And our artwork is for sale.
Yes, all the artwork is for sale.
Artwork for sale.
Hey, I like what you're wearing, girl. I like your look up.
Can we also give a shout out to the Arts Commission for putting
the Arts
all
Commission.
these
Thank
things?
Do what I gotta do.
Yes, thank you to the Arts Commission.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Arts Commission.
Anybody
Make
who's
it
listening,
possible.
make
Thank
sure
you.
you participate with the Arts
Thank you
Commission
so-
online events and wander around Toledo
Momentum.
and recognize all the talent in Toledo. And thank you for the Arts Commission for doing so much hard work to
Right.
keep
Yes.
connecting us all together.
Yes, thank you so much. Great time. Thank you.
All right, guys, have a good one.
All right. Bye, Yusuf. Bye, Paul. Bye, Anthony.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Everybody stay up.